Okay. First of all, apologies to our listener who had just tuned in. We had some technical glitches. But yeah, the first FPL Pulse Talk that's on a duo scale other than the watch alongs. So we are live for our game week 10 deep dive. And this time, me and Aman, usually we do this over a phone call. It's always an it's always an hour long, but we also want to keep this a concise one. We have a few stats this time. We both are stats heavy. We always look into that, and we have couple of views that again, if you are FF Scout member, you will have access to, and these good views are something that we always delve into when looking into this. But Aman did give me a brief about his FPL season so far. I know how sometimes it's been a headache and sometimes it's been a joy. But Aman, you want to throw some light, and then we can quickly jump into our content this time. Okay, is it the same issue? Oh man. I think we'll probably have to drop and then see what could be the issue here and then rejoin. That's the yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll just tune in again. I think we are live back and hopefully with the correct.
Let me let me ask if you are still audible or not.
Yep.
Hello guys, how are you? I if just somebody could confirm if I'm audible or not.
Yes, it is. It is.
Awesome, awesome,
Okay.
awesome.
So
By the way, I think acha, yeah, let's continue.
yeah, I was just saying, so welcome back everyone and apologies for the delay. We had some technical glitches. I think it's probably because when all four are not there, there are some back and
Yeah.
forth. Anyway, kicking back in to game week 10 piece, and I have Aman with me. So this will be our first duo pod, as I've mentioned couple of times before we went off. Now, like we know, the season FPL season so far has been up and down. There are a few key insights that we have, obviously from the FF Scout members area. We have a couple of tables that we want to look at from a attacking lens, defensive lens. We both have our bus teams for game week 10. We do have made early transfer, both of us. We both are kind of manager who don't, but a spoiler alert that this time we both have gone. And Aman, do you want to shed some
We'll
light?
discuss. We'll get on that later on. But I was just about to say, like, I was in a unique position first time, having accumulated four free transfers. That's obviously prior to this season. I think last season you could, right? You could accumulate transfers. Uh, it feels like the last season has been so far back off. But yeah, like first time this season, I could string together four transfers. Especially, I think whenever you wildcard, if the team is fine, you will be able to save a few transfers. And then it led me to a place where I was very confused what to do with the four transfers. Obviously, there are many issues in the team which need sorting out. At the same time, it is a unique situation wherein we don't know the clear picks also in a few positions which need changing. So it's a situation where you have to make a lot of decisions, whether you want to take a player out, get another player in of the same team, because you are already loaded up on three players from the same team. Which are the best players? And then how do you manage the funds around, right? All of that. So having four transfers does help a lot with that. But yeah, I mean, the more important decisions is to get the right players for your team. And that's what I've been struggling a lot with, trying to figure out, trying to understand, going back and test, like, doing all the kinds of permutations and combinations with my team, figuring out whether I can roll to one transfer to two, three, four, and even a hit. Right, one hit, two hit. That's the level of combinations I've explored to fix my team. But yeah, it's been that kind of a week.
Yeah, I mean, you summed up really well. I think I have not been able to accumulate more than two this season so far, and the once I accumulated two, and I've made those two transfers again. So I know, I mean, I always have this urge, like I do not play with that mindset now that I have to hold five and then probably make like overhaul my team. I've never felt that so far. Last season there were moments, but again, it's like it's a game state thing. Like you obviously adapt to the game, how the trends are changing and emerging. So obviously there.
Yeah, also, by the way, before you begin, I think Suraj is also in the back room, if we can add him, if it is possible.
No, I don't think it's
It's
visible
not
for,
possible.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
But he
But
can
he's
get he can
he's
help us
mentioning
in the
your
chat.
voice. Yeah, I think your voice is echoing a bit, is what he's mentioning.
Yeah, I'll just fix that. I think it's the decibel issue. But anyways, a quick sponsor plug and also a mention on the FF Scout current offer that is going on. So there is still 40% off, as Aman mentioned last week, and on top of that, you can use our code to get 5% off. And I quickly want to jump into what we have in store in terms of the stats table that we have. So we have an attacking stats table. This is again prepared by our own co-host Suraj. So this gives you a good view on what are the key attacking players from an NPXGI standpoint. We are looking at the emerging trends, and that this is what helps us always. And then we have a stats defensive table, and I've labeled it as danger plus defcon because that's the idea of defcon plus like a trump defender that you can pick, and that's why that's the name. And we will be delving into these table, and obviously if you have FPL FF Scout members access, then all this is at your disposal. So please go and subscribe and help us grow as well with this. And
And
also,
yeah, don't forget to use our code FFS Pulse 5
yeah,
to get that extra 5% off.
just on a side note as well, so we are 192 subscribers. This has been our
Yeah,
first year when we have started, so we really want to hit 200 by next game week. Please help us, please share our video and subscribe and like, help us grow. This is our passion, and obviously we want to keep on improving. I know there was a glitch today, but we just want to keep on improving and providing content, not just of FPL, but obviously on a larger footballing domain as well.
yeah, please, whoever is here, please like the video. Helps us a lot, and please go and subscribe to our channel. Really helps us. Really helps us. And do drop in the chat. We would be taking all your comments regularly through the pod today. So yeah, we'll be interacting as well throughout. So yeah, please help us get to the 200 subscriber mark as soon as possible. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So on the next part, I think we first want to discuss. Do you want to do fixtures like results of past game weeks, or do we delve into just the upcoming game week? Any standout? Like I'll just show you the results what played out. So any standout one? Obviously Liverpool now four games
Quite
losing.
a few, no? Quite a few. Like first of all, I think it was Liverpool again at it, losing, and then even Chelsea losing to Sunderland, and
Mm,
Sunderland as a result have gone second in the league. So that
mm,
was a major upset, I would say. Uh, United Brighton match scoreline doesn't truly justify what happened in the match, but still, like a very boosting, morale boosting win for United nonetheless. And Arsenal just, being Arsenal and acting like title contenders, grinding that 1-0 win over Crystal Palace. And then obviously the upset. Aston Villa, Unai Emery sort of, ensuring that Aston Villa is not rotting down, and they've now won 4 games in a row, and they've not lost for the last 6 games.
Yep.
So, a revival happening over there. And then Burnley also, I think sorts of, and I would say that for Burnley it was a huge win over Wolves. Wolves have been very abysmal, but still, Burnley, going to Wolves and still coming away with a win,
That
that is
was
huge
that was the
for
game
Burnley.
game like if from a neutral standpoint, that was the game of the week last time around. So I mean, hats off. And I think Spurs also, I want to mention like a crazy
Yeah,
performance at Everton home. I was not expecting that result at all.
correct.
I was expecting couple of goals from Everton, like a 2-2 maybe, but kudos to that result. Like if you had to, Aman, pick down and let's say I'll start with Arsenal, and I'll start with your comment in the previous pod, that you mentioned that you were thinking about triple Arsenal. And I think
Hmm.
the next last game that played out, I think it screams triple Arsenal defense, because if we want to see this kind of trend moving further down the line, and like the goal coming is, if it's 1 or 2 goals coming, and that share also not very fixed, like anyone is scoring right now, it seems like the defenders are up there. I think it's more important what you mentioned last week than this week, that it
Yeah,
could be a strategy around.
absolutely. And I mean, it was a decision for me as well. I could have gone a triple Arsenal for my team as well. I think nobody, like for me, the priority was to get in Gabriel. And I think if anybody doesn't have Gabriel, you cannot, I would seriously say, I will not sit on the fence here, just get him in your team this week any which way.
Yeah.
I would even go to the extent, if you have to take a hit this week. It is a game wherein they can score 2-3 goals only from corners or set pieces. And every time there is a set piece or corner, Gabriel is right there. He's coming up with assists, he's coming up with bonuses, he's coming up with defcons, he's coming up with goals, everything, just getting him in. So for me, the priority transfer for myself, my team, was Gabriel, and that's what I did. And
Yep.
I was, as a result, contemplating. I was discussing with you guys also, should I move to a back Arsenal triple defense? And I feel it's a very viable
Yep.
strategy for the short term, at least.
Yep.
For the next 2 weeks, I definitely believe that Arsenal triple up can outscore any other combination of 3 Arsenal players.
Yep.
Solely because Saka doesn't, like, it's not fully fit. He's been taken off around the 60-70 minute mark. Gyökeres is not able to score goals.
Right.
And even then, whoever is scoring goals, it's nobody knows. It could be Martinelli, could be Trossard, could be Zubimendi, could
Yep.
be Eze, could be Rice. Everybody. So there's not a fixed. The goal share is very distributed. Clean sheets are almost certain. We were discussing. It feels like there is no game week that Arsenal cannot get a clean sheet. And if you think like that, there is a potential 18 minimum 18 point banker every week in your team if you get a triple Arsenal defense. And because there is no forward who's emerging or attacker who's emerging who's taking all the goals, you can keep on gaining advantage over the rest of the field who have, say, Gyökeres or Saka,
Yep.
by going triple defense. I definitely feel it's a very viable. I will be very, very tempted if I could get there, and in a way sort of be sure of the transfers and sort my team structure. I would have gone. And in hindsight, I mean, I'm 90% sure I should have done it, and I'll be ruining it that why didn't I do it. But yeah, whoever can get there easy. For
Yep.
example, you just have 2 Arsenal defense, you don't have any attacker, just go for a third Arsenal defense
Yeah.
right now.
I
You
mean,
can change there will be transfers. You can shift players right down the line. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I remember when, like, I think it was game week 6 when everyone was doing wildcard and my team was not screaming wildcard. I made one move and for a hit I got Gabriel and he luckily scored in that same game week. So fortune favored me in that game week, although it was all Senesi hype in that game week, like it should be Senesi the first move. But I think something I found, like the way, like I think I went across that set piece stat that we had discussed in our one of our earlier pod, that there has been a 30% increase in set piece overall, like not specific to a particular team. And that stood out for me, that if and like a Arsenal facing teams who are really bad at set piece. So I mean, a lot of teams like Liverpool are getting exposed to set piece long balls as well. So I think there has been a clear trend change, and I think that's also contributing to the fact that, looking at Arsenal, a lot of teams are following this philosophy, like long throw-ins, creating like more set piece chances, and that's eventually improving the defcon of the overall pool of defenders that we have right now. Like we've seen
Yes.
a higher defcon share up till this point. So I was reading a comment that stated that there has been a 22% increase in the DEFCON percentage at this stage as compared to last stage, and there's been a 30% increase in threat set piece goal attempts than last game week. So you can assume how the trends are emerging and why teams are following a particular strategy. Not very football like thing, but yeah, I mean, if it wins you games, then
Just a moment, I'll be back.
yeah. So, like other than that, I think the other performances that have been stood out is obviously Aston Villa's performance, and now Aston are facing a team that's on a downward trajectory in Liverpool. So interesting to see a team in form versus a team not in form, which how this game plays out. So it'll be very, very interesting to see. Although Watkins and Rogers haven't stepped up, it was a different sort of a game in terms of Aston holding back and taking the chances as and when they were coming. So again, an improved performance from Aston again, but again Watkins isn't up to the mark as you would expect. But obviously, it could change in a couple of game weeks' time. We've seen how trends have been changing so quickly this season. So obviously, it's something to quickly monitor. I'll just quickly take a couple of questions that we are getting so far. So Suraj is asking about Palace players. So we do have a section, Suraj, on which we'll be covering this particular thing, covering Palace players. So just hold on to that. But just covering the
Yeah.
last bit, like I just want to touch base quickly on the players. I think from City, given the rotation, I think now only Haaland is the pick that is emerging. So keep him as you can, as long as you can. Other players haven't changed much. The emerging pick now from Palace have a good run of fixtures. I wanted
Yeah.
to go towards the fixture ticker only, but
Let's go after, huh? Yeah, let's discuss on the fixture later. Just quickly, yeah, I think we can just bring discuss the upcoming week games in this week.
yeah,
Yeah, so I think clearly the biggest fixture seems to be the Burnley Arsenal match. I think there will be goals. Now again, it I won't be surprised if there are three goals in this match and all of them are from set pieces.
mm,
That's what seems to be the case right now with Arsenal. They, and props to them that they are able to find. They have drilled this so well that they do not even need to rely on their forwards clicking or not
yeah,
in any given moment, because their defense itself can defend for, like, it's the best defense in the league, and they're also the best attacking defense in the league. They are able to score in any given game. And for that matter, Calafiori, Timber are also good for goals themselves
yep,
any given week. So yeah, I mean, I am sort of looking forward to this week. I personally, I'm keeping Gyökeres for this last. I think it if he this will be his last rendezvous with in my team if he
yeah,
blanks. I might keep him for one more week. If he scores like a couple of goals or something, or he performs pretty well, then I can think of keeping him. But yeah,
Yep.
otherwise, this game is just to basically just target your Arsenal defenders.
Yep.
They are they like the points are there.
Yep. I think one fixture like I now I'm feeling in terms of targeting, and now markets are also picking like Wolves. If you see, Fulham has
Yeah,
40% odds there, and then West Ham. I think these two team
correct.
can be easily targeted. Like even with Nuno coming in, I think they haven't solidified much. Although I will say some good pointers around Nottingham. Like I saw them much more organized under Sean Dyche. Again, United are in form. I expect them to score. Whether like Nottingham, there are less chance they'll keep us clean sheet. But I think on the attacking side that they are also bad. I think and Burnley at home seems to be still better. But again, Arsenal can still get a set piece goal. I mean, that's where we'll be tricky. But in terms of what I am seeing as a trends and the markets are also picking is Wolves, West Ham, and Burnley are the teams to target. I have now overlooked that Sunderland away or Sunderland home fixture. I don't see that so well for a triple captaincy or like even something that you can consider as a easy fixture now because the way they have been playing. Um, they've shown it throughout the season. I feel like we were questioning at the start of the season the amount of money they were spending on players. The interesting piece on Sunderland is like they have a lot of players going out for during the FCON period. So that's where if maybe we can target them. But I feel like the overall organization of the team seems to be good that it's like a marquee fixture to target now. So just wanted to highlight that in terms of the teams that we can target, and we're seeing that in the odds as well. I think
Yeah,
now the one team that I really want Liverpool to do good now and like at least some trends start emerging like who are the picks. I also looked at Salah's trajectory of NPXGI, and that has been an upward one since game week 4. So one to monitor again, like if like we should keep ourselves open to getting back Salah if like let's say by game week 13 he has again started showing some colors that he was displaying last year. So that should be our plan, like keeping transfers open, keeping money in the bank, making like always having a route to Salah is I think something everyone should keep in hindsight because it looks like if Saka doesn't show any consistency, maybe an Eze can be a cheaper option, and then you can again afford Salah. So those are like the few themes that I think everyone should keep in mind when while building the team towards the next 5 game weeks.
yeah, and I think those same argument also holds true for if you are planning to play your bench boost for those all those who have not played it yet. For example, a lot of teams who wildcarded, say in game week 8, they had already planned for a game week 10 bench boost because there are teams like Newcastle playing West Ham, there are teams like Fulham playing Wolves. Even for myself, I was looking at a game week 10 or even game week 9 bench boost last week.
Yeah,
Only if it was only because there
Anderson.
were a couple of doubts of like Saka, Gabriel, and then Anderson was injured, so I didn't go through. But yeah, again, like even this week, if your teams are well positioned and you have the kind of players, I think it's and you can, if you can get to a great team sorting out your problems in the bench, you and still bench boost, I think you should go for it.
Yep.
Same is the case for next week. If you think not now, game week 10 is not great, maybe game week 11 can also give you chances because then Burnley are playing Wolves in game week 11.
Yeah.
So that's a great, although Burnley go away to Wolves, but not Wolves. Uh,
Burnley, I think Newcastle are facing Burnley, right?
West Ham. I think Burnley are going
I'll
to
just
West
get the
Ham.
fixture ticker for you.
Burnley are going to West Ham, if I'm
Yeah,
not wrong.
West Ham.
So, and then again, Wolves and West Ham, the worst performing teams defensively and offensively. So I would definitely take my chances in that game week if you have the kind of
Yeah.
setup for that.
I would mention like a last pointer on bench boost that now I think the upside of bench boost is also increasing more and more. So what we have seen so far is that there were some key weeks that people bench boosted, and there was a complete plethora of managers doing it. So if you hit the bench boost right, you can expect a good game week rise now, because two things that are emerging now is that a similar set of teams, you'll see more similar teams now as you would have seen before game week 6. Most of the wild cards are out of the window as well, so there are a lot of similarity in the team. So the upside that you have is basically left with those who have triple captain chip, free hit chip, and bench boost chip. So I think now until the FCON period, if there could be couple of windows that you can play your bench boost chip, and that's why we want to focus completely on that point. At least having five, like four playing, your bench should be playing. At least fixture might not be a concern there, but at least having a DEFCON defender, as Aman didn't have Anderson last week, and looks like Aman, he might be out longer, right? It
Yeah.
could be this as he wasn't he isn't fit for the Carabao fixture, so
Yeah, but then again, I think there is a chance that he might be fit for game week 11.
yeah,
And I mean, I would still wait on a transfer. I mean, you can still transfer because the fact that after 11, Fulham in general, I don't think have great fixtures.
yeah,
Like Fulham, although they had a great fixture this week itself against Wolves, and he would have been in my first team, first 11. But like they have Everton away, Sunderland, they're playing well. Uh, Although it's at Fulham home, so I can't say, like, you can also think about 12. But I think in that week, Burnley are playing Chelsea, so if you thinking from a bench boost perspective, that's not a great week to bench boost. So you can think of selling Anderson to another player as well at the moment. You don't need to wait.
right. And let's say if you have the fixture ticker in front of you, it looks like Arsenal has the best fixture. Then I think Palace has the best fixture. Everton
Villa
also,
as well. I think Villa
Villa,
definitely from
yeah,
game week 11, 12, especially 12.
yep,
Like that run of Leeds, Wolves, Brighton, that's amazing. And then
yep,
Arsenal in the middle, but then again they have West Ham. So that's a block of five fixtures with just one difficult fixture in the middle.
yep. So I had shortlisted the team. Arsenal, Villa is there, then Palace is there, United is there. Nottingham has good fixtures post 13, but there hasn't been a standout pick. And
No.
then Newcastle also has good fixture post 13. So like let's say if you have to pick few players, like three Arsenal players, we know your favorite there. I think Timber, Gabriel, and Saka are
Raya.
the Reyes.
Raya. At the moment, I'll go with the triple defense.
Yeah,
If I have to like pick from scratch and create a wild card, for example, I'll definitely have a triple Arsenal defense.
yeah. So my pick would be Timber, Gabriel. I have Eze, so I'm slightly biased over there. So I'll say Eze because it saves you money for other players that are there. And Aman, any Aston pick that is emerging for you?
Not yet. I mean, Morgan Rogers has started to show some good signs in general, but again, I mean, I would wait till he goes on a streak, like he puts in a performance, back to back great performance or goals and assists, and maybe that is when his form can also be assisted by good fixtures along the way. So if that happens, say for example he does really well against Liverpool and Bournemouth, then I'll be thinking about bringing him in for the next 5 to 6 fixtures.
Makes sense. Anyone from Bournemouth other than I think Krupi is the pick that we
Yeah,
don't have.
I'm really keen on understanding how does Raiola play Krupi Jr., because if he becomes a regular starter, even if that means he's playing 60 minutes, I am interested,
Yeah,
right? And that's the only reason I've not gone for him yet, because I think from next week Evanilson should be fine, and then we have to see what happens. How does the how are the minutes managed for Krupi Jr.? But I think logically, as a manager, you would not be thinking about benching a talismanic forward goal scoring player,
yeah,
and that's what Krupi Jr. is. He's selfish. He scores goals. Uh, on the same line, because of that, I've noticed Semenyo's output has dropped. he's not making those
Yeah, at
kinds of
least in the last
forward.
game. At least in the
Yeah,
last
he
game, we
was not
noticed.
making that kind of an attacking run and all, right? Which he has done for the initial 7 8 game weeks.
Totally.
And yeah, that's a concern. But again, if that trend continues, I think he offers us a chance to move into another good asset who might emerge in that bracket. It could be Gakpo, it could be Eze, could be Mbumo, right? Like I am actually sort of try so that's where I am right now. I don't know the players that I need
Mm.
to get,
Right.
and I don't want to make hasty moves.
Right.
And it's very confusing. Nobody has shown their hands fully up. Somewhere in some places you have the good players, but they don't have the fixtures. So I think it's a wait and watch for at least 1 to 2 game weeks to understand the right trends.
Yeah. And then anything from Brighton.
I think only player is Minte that you might want to consider. There are a few managers who are thinking about Welbeck. I don't
I
mind,
think Suraj
but if
got
you're
him on
going well,
wildcard. He scored as well.
yeah. But like if you're going for Welbeck and you're on a wild card, why not go for Thiago from
Yeah.
Sunderland?
I
He
think.
has like they are very similar in kind of the players they are for their teams respectively. They both have pens, and so the advantage with Thiago is that he has a higher goal share for his team as compared to Welbeck,
Mm.
and he's playing well. He's putting up the numbers. He looks good on the eye test, and I think Brentford's fixtures we can all obviously see they're like if not better, they're actually as good as Brighton's.
Yeah. Yeah,
So they
Thiago is
have
a
the
fair shout. I think from Brentford, Thiago is a shout. Um, Brighton only Minte seems to be there. Is getting back to fitness, so one to watch. And
yeah
Chelsea, I think Chelsea people have started offloading Chelsea asset, and particularly
yeah
Pedro has been under the axe this particular week. So your thoughts on that? Like,
yeah.
is he a must
He's
sell?
not done well. He's a sell in my eyes. I mean, I don't think you should prioritize a Gyökeres sell if you have him this like in your team. He's playing Burnley, definitely the
Mm,
best fixture for any team in the league. So
mm.
keep Gyökeres, and I think you
Yeah,
can
even
move
I'm kind of holding him till 12, Pedro, because
Pedro.
yeah,
Hmm.
because I had
Fixtures are there. Like
yeah,
fixtures are there for sure.
I mean
Like
like
we are
so
ourselves playing Wolves and Burnley next.
my
And mind you, Tottenham is always like you should
leaky.
not judge whatever form a player is in for a match like Chelsea versus Tottenham.
Yeah.
Both the teams will score goals, and anybody can score in this
So
kind of a
my
game.
rationale is based on last season when I had Pedro. He blanked for 5 game weeks when I owned him, and the moment I sold him, he started on his streak. Now I'm just
And
hoping that part, like there has been a massive wave of Pedro selling for Mateta this game week. I also made Mateta move, but obviously for a different player. So my just the thought that I have, I'm using him more as a coverage. Like I don't, I've sold Caicedo also, so I don't know. Like to have one Chelsea is what
hmm,
I was thinking, and that's was my thought process behind it. But I think yeah, any other emerging pick, Akimpong or Reece James, you
I
would
will
say,
not. I will not trust our defense at the moment. I'm myself a Chelsea fan, and
yeah,
I'm not liking the way we are playing defensively. We are giving up matches altogether, let alone chances. We're giving up matches
yeah,
with the way we are defending. It's
right,
very like shambolic the way we have defended in the previous match.
hmm,
I I feel for whoever managers went and got in Sanchez on their wild card last week. They must be thinking themselves that we could have maybe even
yeah,
gone for Roofs, right? Sunderland goalkeeper, or even somebody like Henderson, for example, from Palace. Or if you had more
yeah,
money, you could have gone for Pope
yeah,
from Newcastle. But yeah, I mean, I would not trust Chelsea defense at all. Kukurea is there, but then again, he's not really been returning attacking wise, and he's never gonna give you any defensive contribution points. The only player I think you can consider is Enzo at the moment, because solely
of the
because he
pens,
has pens,
yeah.
and amongst other attackers, he's still crashing the box.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
I think he
still
was more
trying.
ahead. I think he was at the
Yeah.
same line as Pedro last game. So
Yes.
I
Exactly.
liked his position. Was just hoping he doesn't score. Luckily for me, he didn't turn up that day. But yeah, he's a threat to my rank right now.
Yeah.
In terms of
Yeah.
Palace, like Palace has been a hot topic. Palace is everywhere, and I think now the fixture run is like it's the best window to get three Palace assets. Luckily,
What would be your top three Palace assets?
I think Mateta Sar goes without saying. I
Yeah.
am I am not in the Munoz bus
Okay.
because I feel Munoz money is best suited. Like it's not like I do not rate Munoz as a good FPL asset. It's for me the comparison between owning Timber or Munoz. And I feel like owning Timber gives me much more security and like less headache. And in so that's why I am leaning towards not having Munoz in my structure. But if I have to just openly state without putting money into context, Munoz, Sar, and Mateta are the best three picks.
Mateta.
But other than that, I think Richards, Sar, and
Richards. I
Mateta
think,
are
yeah.
better for a structure.
What do you think about Lacroix? He
He's
has
as
actually
good
dropped
as
0.1 million.
good as Richards. So like you can keep either of them. Like
But
Lacroix,
doesn't don't you or rather I should say let's compare both Gehi and Lacroix because both are a little bit different in terms of what they bring to the table. Like Lacroix is like a certain two extra points for Defcon every game, and he also has a slight threat from the
I think
in on
Gehi has a better thread. What is Gehi's price? He's less than Leclerc, right? Leclerc, right?
4.9.
Yeah, then I
Lacroix is
mean,
5 and Gehi is 4.9.
then it is anything. So see, like over a longer period, if I have to think of it, then Leclerc will match Gehi, is what I think because of the DEFCON. He had
But
some
with
that
the way Gehi is playing this season, I feel if I were chasing a little bit rank, and I think almost everybody is sort of chasing ranks, I will, if I'm spending 5 million on a Palace player, I
yeah.
will go with Gehi. I feel this season
So
he's had a different kind of an threat about him. He definitely comes
I think
late, like at the last, and he gives that pass, that final pass that is being then scored inside, or he might even score some wonder
so
goal
with
sometime. I
with
think
Gehi, you might get one thing. Like if you get him now for a longer term, I think he might pay for Palace in next 9 games and then for Liverpool again. so
speculation. That's a speculation, but yeah,
so
like yeah, you can it might happen, might
but
happen.
yeah, I'm like I would still rate Richards and Lacroix better than see
Mm.
for me I
Fair,
still feel predictability of DEFCON is so easy with these players. I mean,
absolutely,
so Lacroix doesn't get yellow card. Like I haven't
yeah.
seen him pick one yellow card. Richard has picked three, I think, for now. He's just very close to suspension also. So
And Richards also has been sort of dealing with some or the other injury. Like
yeah, he's not going to play
he's
midweek.
always been benched in the midweek games,
Yeah, yeah. So
which is a
he's
good thing.
good
I
thing
feel
for
it is a
PL
good
players.
thing. Yeah. So I think in that sense, I will also rate maybe, I mean, if you have to balance everything out and you want to have save some money for your midfield position, whatever, I think fourth pick has to be Richards. If you want to go different, I think then Gehi
Yeah, yeah. You can. Although Gehi is, I think, the highest scorer, but it's because of 2 goals. I think he scored.
and assist.
Yeah. So I'm like Richard for me. Richards. I see my playing structure right now is like three defenders, which is more or less each week Senesi, Timber, and Gabriel. And if I have to pick the fourth one, it's either Rodon or Richards. I'm not rating Richards so high. Obviously, I'm going to play him, start him the next game week, but it's not like the three I'm going to play triple up each game week unless until you like Palace so much that you want to play all of them three like triple up each week, then I think Munoz is obviously the pick that you should have in your team.
You think Sar still deserves a place? Like if so, we are comparing Sar with the likes of Enzo. Like
So
if there is one
before,
position for
uh,
a 6.5 player
I
in
think
your
I
team,
might
for
have that
example,
in my stats.
let's go with that.
So
Yeah, just one thing. Sorry, just one thing. Let's quickly take a few comments because we said we will be
sure,
talking
sure,
about the
sure.
comments. So Ritin was saying that he will definitely use the wildcard this week. I am, by the way, guys, if others don't know, Ritin is the leader in
Yeah,
our, uh, you know, uh, private league for FPL Pulse Talk Championship,
yeah,
and he has been doing amazingly well. And I think we should probably do some video with him as well, since he's
sure.
on a wild card. It's interesting. So yeah, he's saying that he will triple up on Arsenal defense. Rhea, Timber, and Gabriel. Perfect, Ritin. I think I there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Uh, and then he's also, and then Suraj is, who's in the chat, is saying once Palmer is back, Saka to Palmer, and then you can get triple up on Arsenal defender if they keep stacking up those clean sheets. For those who have
I
Saka
think,
right now, basically is what he means.
but I mean, if you take everything into consideration, like at least 10 triple up Arsenal might not be a template play. I think two Arsenal defense could become a play, and like one or so that's why I'm saying having Eze is the play, could be the play because of his price point right now and
But
how
right
he's.
now, it doesn't feel like you need to get to him necessarily.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not that
It's
important a
just about
transfer.
the structure, and I felt in
I
my
feel
structure it allows me to spread my funds in midfield to get to Mbumo or to get to players like who I want. Like even I can afford Gordon now if I have to upgrade any of the other players. So that is where otherwise like you need to have a dead 5 mil or 5.5 mil, which are who are clearly not coming up now. Maybe in the defenders pool, but not in terms of attacking pool. Coming back to the point on the SAR thing, like if you see the amount of games he has played, I think he missed 4 games, 3 games, and now he's still in the on pen XG. He's like
fourth.
3.25. Yeah, fourth.
Hmm.
And Mateta is obviously up there. Now in the touches in the penalty box, Minte is there, but I think if I his touches are slightly lower, but obviously his games are less. But that's what I wanted to show. That's even
Hmm.
before like he went injured or in the last season,
Yeah.
last 10 games of the last season, his XGI was quite high. And that's why I was like he comes into those position. And I mean, if you remember the game that he scored in the last minute, that is his quality, that he will be playing 90 minutes and like any odd chance he can score those half chances as well. So I think there
But
is.
I will rather so for me, and Suraj has actually asked like how will you rank the players? Like would it be Mateta, Munoz, Sar, or Mateta, Sar, and then Munoz?
I will be
Like, and I
Mateta Sar, or even I will be I think I will be Mateta Sar and then Munoz.
I am in the Mateta Munoz Sar camp
Okay.
because I feel in considering the next three fixtures for Chelsea and the price point, I think you can definitely keep Enzo, and he's an easy transition to a Sar when the fixtures really improve
Yeah.
after 2 to 3 game
Yeah.
weeks. And if you go back to if you can go back to the fixture ticker, that will actually support that argument. Like when you compare, obviously, like Crystal Palace are playing Brentford, Brighton, and Wolves, and then United, whereas Chelsea are playing Tottenham, Wolves, Burnley.
Mm.
So I think it's it's a decent switch from Enzo to Sar if you think.
Yep.
Also because Enzo seems to be on it. And if going back to your table of the stats, if you think Enzo also has penalties with him, which is a big advantage over Sar.
Yeah.
He also is creating a lot of chances, which is visible from his key passes and assists, uh,
Mm.
expected assist numbers. Ismaila Sar, I think he's always had a great goal threat. He doesn't give you a great assist threat. He doesn't have pen. So routes to point wise, I think
Yeah.
Enzo feels like a better pick, even if their fixtures are similar or
Yeah,
comparable.
I would agree. Like if you have to compare Enzo and Sar, in the current scheme of things, yes, he you can rate him higher. Obviously, when Palmer is back, then like it's a debatable, very subjective manager to manager aspect. Right now, it's clear that there are more route to points to Enzo. I think Enzo slightly edges over Sar on the DEFCON chances probability as well. So that is obviously that's down to the playing position. But yeah, obviously I'm rating Palace's form or the way they are playing well, and like having the best three picks of that team is like the easiest thing. The other thing like I wanted to highlight, and the player that's I've got in, so no more spoilers, I've got in Mbumo as well. So if you look at the stats right now, like on the assists as well as on the non-pen xg, overall 5 xgi he's created, and if I have to take it, he's obviously in the top 10 now. So how would you like top 5 now, how would you rate Mbumo now, or like overall, is he now
Yeah.
the best United pick to have, or is it still Bruno?
I have Bruno in my team. I'm not too dissatisfied. I think considering Bruno's performance also was not bad. Like he could have gotten a couple of goals, like one goal in each of the last two matches.
Right.
It He was not far from it. He's hit goals. He's had some big chances as well, and he's also all the time creating chances nonetheless. And then he has penalties on top of that.
Correct.
So it could be it could have been another week wherein Bruno could have ended up with 15 points, and Mbumo might have been on a 5 or 6
Yeah.
with one assist.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that. But if I don't have either,
Hmm.
then I'll definitely be tempted to save a point 0.7 million on Fernandes and go with Mbumo,
Hmm.
because definitely he is the biggest threat in the team.
Hmm.
And then why not? Yeah, if he looks to be in form and he started to get in the goals, definitely go get him. I think, yeah, Mbumo is probably my pick. But would I make the sideways move from Bruno to
Yeah,
Mbumo?
doesn't make
No.
sense. Yes. So, like the one point I realized was like he's picked like goal attempts in the box or shots in the box is 23, and then he almost on target 50% of the time. So XGI created by them, like we know that United amongst all team right now have the highest XG created. So I think if the trends start converging and they start
Yeah.
getting those converting those half baked chances, I think that's what I'm betting on right now, and that's the gamble I'm ready to take. Any other standout pick? I mean, I looked at last game NDI. I mean, like he's also one player that I
Dude, like NDI has been was I was also watching I've not seen the game, but I saw the highlights. Dude, he was so unlucky. It's just because of that they have poor strikers in Beto and the likes, and that all his assist rate is through the roof.
hmm,
He is crossing all the time. He's cutting in. He's dribbling. He's giving that final pass. It's just that it's not being converted.
right.
He's just. I mean, and yeah, I definitely have no issues with NDI as a pick. Would I get him on a wild card right now if I don't have him already? Probably no. I don't
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
I mean, you can, you might not. But yeah, he's an amazing pick. As a footballer,
Yeah.
he's really, really good.
Any thoughts
Uh,
on Gakpo?
so my thoughts on are in general in that position. Like Gakpo, it's basically the 7.5 to 8 million bracket,
Yeah.
where you have Gordon, you have Gakpo, you have
Mbumo.
Eze, and on the upper end you have Mbumo.
Yeah.
I'll keep Foden out of this and Ryan Shirky out of this for now because they're not doing as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I just want to know who's gonna be my that pick of 7.5, because I think every team can get to that spot where they can pull some money out from other positions and upgrade a 6.5. Right now I think a lot of teams have two 6.5s,
Hmm.
and if you can just get like a 1 million from one more position, you can get to a 7.5 player easily.
Yeah.
So, but nobody is clearly saying, yes, I am going to be the scorer,
Yeah.
right? Gakpo doesn't have fixtures in the short run. Like the next two are, tough. Maybe then we in game week 12, if we think about him, he might be the pick. I am thinking about him. Same is going for Eze. If he does really, really well, and he is also locking in 90 consecutive 90 minutes in the team, then he becomes a pick, right? And so is the case for Bruno. If
Hmm.
He's really doing well. I might even go in like a double United attack.
Yeah.
So for me, this is a very fiercely kind of a emerging and fought spot, and I want to get it right.
Yeah. Like my thought on Eze and why I picked him, although last game week he got couple of goal attempts again. But
Yeah.
even before
Okay.
that, if you look at the goal attempts that he had till the previous game, like Bruno, Gakpo, Semenyo, Salah, and Murphy, Eze, all were having the same and
Yeah.
even. So I mean, he's in the those places where you would expect. Although he's not, his coverage in penalty area is not that much, so that's a concerning factor.
Yeah.
But again, his route to points, again, he's also on some of the free kicks. He's also taking one odd corners when Saka and Rice is not on the pitch. Like sometimes it's also dependent on game state, that if Rice is tired or anything, then Eze is also coming in those places. So I mean, there are like stretched cases when you have to talk about Eze, but I think it's all about just having Eze allows you having few more good picks, and overall in a combined state it is like Saka and a 5.5 versus Eze and Mbumo together. So that's was my thought process.
I'll just show you something
Yeah.
interesting. Like if you look at the goal threat, Calafiori's goal threat XG non-penalty is higher than Eze, right? Like Calafiori is 1.93 and Eze is 1.41 XG non-pen. So I hear you. I feel Eze is not acting like that decisive, or somebody who's gonna go and score those worldies like
Yeah.
he's used to do in Palace. He's not there yet
Yeah.
in the team itself,
Right.
and then he's being subbed off early also.
Got it.
And then worse, you compare him to Enzo. Enzo is sitting on 3.09 non-pen XG. Why would you not get Enzo rather, who is also on pens?
Yeah.
Right? So for me, as it just doesn't feel like the pick. If I will go, I'll probably be looking at somebody like Mbumo or Gakpo, players from team. For example, Liverpool, none of us have any coverage at the moment, and they're soon gonna go in a great run of fixture.
Makes
So
sense.
then, yeah, Gakpo or Ekitike like that. If Isak is injured long term, then Ekitike is a clear cut option.
Right.
Then
Like
you have
if you
space for
had to
him.
rate your mids now, like the idea for this was mainly focusing on the
Yeah.
midfielders. So I want to know top five midfielders and keeping a structure in mind. Also, you can obviously
Mm.
mention your structure. Like obviously, four mids are what we are playing with. So what do you
Right.
think, like in terms of what we've discussed?
I feel
Hmm.
I want to go first of all, structure wise, I definitely want to move into a five midfield structure.
Right.
Uh, if that is the case, I think definitely first pick. Again, like, and that's what I'm not so sure on. I think Bruno Fernandes or Mbumo for anybody. I think one of these two, or
Yes.
basically one United forward, has
Has
to
to be
be
there.
there
Correct.
between Mbumo or Fernandes. Then, for me, Enzo, you can take one pick between, say, Enzo and NDI, but if that is the comparison, I'll most likely go with Enzo. Then Semenyo, until the point we are very sure that he's lost, like he's not scoring those goals, he's not getting into those positions. So Semenyo also takes one spot. So these are three spots finished.
Yeah.
Then I think there has to be a conversation for Saka in that team.
Yep.
Am I so sure about it? Not really. Can I think about even going with a double up on United and do something different than the whole pool around me? Sure. And interestingly, I was also thinking like having both Mbumo and Fernandez gives you a big differential upside. Plus, it maintains your team structure. It You can go up a little to Saka, you can come down a little to Gakpo or Eze as well from Mbumo or Fernandes.
Makes
So
sense.
I like that. And then finally, I think maybe you can decide between Sar or uh, you know maybe you can have Minte if you don't have enough funds for a Sar, or if you want to play in sort of like a 6x million forward as your third forward, you can think of going down to a 5 million, and at that point I'm interested in Longstaff
Yep.
at 4.9.
Yep.
I think he is the 5 and sub 5 million pick at the moment.
Yep.
He's on all the set pieces. He is creating chances, and he's also a goal threat. So, and if not, then maybe Minte or Sar or India. You can pick one.
Yep. I think three picks I would also relate with. I mean, either Bruno or Mbumo has to be there given the fixture run. I'm talking about a bracket of next five up till 13 till the next fixture swing. So Mbumo is obviously a pick. I also like Gordon just because of his penalty threat. Although he's also getting into good position, it's just unlucky that he's not scoring.
Yeah.
Semenyo and Sar, I'm not able to wrap my head around that. I don't want them. Like I think it's also something that I always want. Like those two fit in my thought of playing style as well. They rack up the necessary stats that I always look into, so they will be become there.
Yeah.
I think I like in the other like 5 million or 5 to 6 million. I do like someone like a Shaka or maybe a 5 point like Minte also is in conversation, but like I like playing midfield and someone who's on a defcon set pieces, lot of route to points. So that's why he comes into my kind of structure playing there. You won't see attractive stats, but you will still get points over there. So that's the play over there.
I wanted to ask, like, I hear you, and I'm also considering, Gordon. He's also on pen till the time he's on the pitch.
Yeah.
But if you don't have him, I don't feel he's a priority. Like, we need to think too much about him or prioritize him at
I think
least for the next 5 game weeks. If you look at the
it
fixtures,
would have been a
they're really good from 15.
yeah,
They're
but
really good from 15.
if you saw like the chance he got last game, like I don't know how he didn't score, but
I saw. He should have scored. Like, he should have gotten the points. Yeah,
so
he was
it's
amongst them.
all about like we eat our own words when we ridicule a player
Yeah,
later on. So that's also a play there. But I mean, it's he's not a priority, of course. I won't say he's a priority. Newcastle doesn't seem like a team who's going to score 3 goals each game week, so that's why it doesn't
correct.
appeal that much. But yeah, I mean, it could change, and it seems like a Gordon Hall in the next 2 3 games is coming, and that's what I'm like targeting a near term window, and it looks like
Won't you want to rather bet on going both Mbumo and Fernandes rather?
no.
I would feel like they are on
So
it's a team which is on the up. They're scoring goals.
my
They're genuinely creating chances and XG also. The
my
data is there.
I think I was watching Dhruv's podcast or it was Piyush's podcast. Both of these guys were discussing United play, and I think what they kind of are seeing as a like, and it was a good observation to see how United is making substitution in last 2 3 games. Bruno is in an attacking position only in the last 20 or 30 minutes of the play.
Yep.
Okay, and before that he is very deep, and you are basically betting on getting a penalty, which is, let's say, is obviously a plus, and that you can hope with the other player as well. Similarly to Enzo, who is like 6 million cheaper right now, but I would rate Enzo and Bruno same, but Enzo is the steal deal if you have to compare, because the playing style right now of these two players is very similar for me at least. Even if I have to talk about overall form of the team, I would not rate Chelsea very high or United very high of each other. So that's my comparison, and that's why I feel Bruno is a bit expensive for me. Now,
Hmm.
the DEFCON part is where I see that the route to point, or the set piece part is, I feel, where the route to point is where Bruno,
Pens
yeah,
as well.
Pens is there, but I think that is the only case. But if I
I
have to,
feel like it's generally why I in my mind I always probably like in my heart, probably I would want to go with Mbumo, but in my mind, I would know that maybe for me, Bruno is the kind of pick for me because there's just one assist and he has,
11
3 bonus points to
points.
him. So for him, it just takes one assist to get as much points as a Mbumo after he has scored
Yep.
and assisted.
Yep.
So that is the upside.
Fair
And
shout.
I will always take somebody who's going to play 90 minutes throughout, because at any given point he can get a pen. I don't think it's probably Amorim has also made it very clear that he's working very seriously on
Yeah.
his penalties and he is not going to give them away. So that's also encouraging. And then he will create a chance out of thin air for you any
So
given
that's
time.
where I'm thinking that, like, if you, the last two games, if I have to just precise it to that, the last two games, I feel it just looks evidently that Mbumo is going to be there. Like in all of their play, he is pivotal, and that is just more appealing. Like, I know the fact that Bruno's one goal is worth not just 5 points, it's 8 points. An assist is not just worth 4 points, it's 3 points, it's again 6 points or 5 points. I get that appeal of Bruno and why he's important. It's just that how I am seeing the recent trend and how United is going to play, I think Mbumo stands out slightly edges over me, and it's all about, I still feel I need to use my funds judicially to other player as well, and it allows me multiple ways, and that's why a structure with Bruno is just giving me a lot of headache. Although I've always envisioned having him in my team and be sorted with, but it's just that it's not helping me feel good with the other picks that I am able to get there. And
Yeah.
in the future, like, I obviously got Isak on my wild card and I had to move him out because of his injury. Otherwise, like in that structure, if I have to move back to that structure, I already know that it is not possible with Bruno. It is not possible currently with Saka also. So I need to think of who are these mid-priced budget
Exactly.
picks who are going to rack you points as well, but the high grossing points are going to be in the high-end forwards that you will bet on.
Correct, correct. No, yeah, I mean, and then let's quickly come to forwards. Are you in general preferring a three forward structure or a two forward and a cheapy structure? Or maybe two forward and a mid price structure? I mean, I don't know. I personally, I'd rather go with, if I'm going with three up strong, then I'll, get a very cheap midfielder and go with a strong forward, than go with somebody like Welbeck or even Thiago. I mean, I'd be more comfortable playing a good forward every week than having to choose between 1.6 million
Yeah.
forward and a 1.5 million midfielder.
So my thought process hasn't changed much from when I wildcarded, and I still feel Isak, Haaland, and Mateta are going to, like, this is going to be a template from game week 12. I'm already seeing that going to happen. It's just that we see a couple of goals from Isak, and this might turn out to be the case. And that
What's
is,
the update on Isak right now?
he's still like nursing with the issue, so not expected to be in the next game week as well, but he'll be like, he's, it is not very serious. He felt
Okay,
his groin, but it is not serious, so he's doing the, like what I read last is he's in the gym to just make sure he's up to fitness. So probably again reduced minutes, but that's expected with the player who hasn't had a preseason. Like, slot was over ambitious, I think, with him. That's the thing.
cool. So for you, it's a three forward structure.
Three
For
four,
me,
I think
I
it is
would,
going to be 3-4-3 for me throughout the season.
and I am preferring more like a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2 kind of a structure,
Fair.
depending on the best,
Yeah.
players to play.
I think I'm also open, but right now I feel more comfortable with that kind of structure, not relying much on
Yeah,
clean
I
sheet.
mean, again, so I'm not locking myself in, and that's why I'm, refraining from making those moves where I move into a set structure. Because what if Ekitike is a
Yeah.
clear forward emerging, right? What if Mbumo is undeniable? What if Saka is the player you have to get? So yeah, I want to be open and flexible for all those possibilities. Cool. Let's go. Let's get to the defense. Yeah.
So, like, this is first sorted by DEFCON percentages per start, and we know Tarkovsky, Senesi, Anderson. We've known this picks. We know these are like DEFCON monsters. But this table is basically to also add a attacking aspect to this. And to your pointer, as you were mentioning, I would correct myself. Lecroix does have a decent goal
Yeah.
attempt in the box. So Like,
That's what I was saying.
not in the overall context of things, but I think it's still like it's a
Like
decent.
as an additional and compare, if you're making those slight comparisons, when they're comparing who else does he compare within that place, then
Yeah,
yeah, I think Lecroix, if you have the money, you want to spend a point 0.5 extra over Richards, I think you should go with Lecroix over Gehi.
yeah,
That's the sensible thing to do.
that's there. So yeah, I mean, like there are not much of defensive pool now left with how Arsenal, what Arsenal has been doing. I think there has can be a shout between for the keeper Donnarumma. Like if you have like City still, then Donnarumma and Haaland are the two options. So Donnarumma can be that pick. Guardiola again has been rotated, so again no point of going there. But
I won't trust anybody other than Donnarumma from if you want a piece of City defense.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There
So
was a question about that in the chat also. Yeah, I
yeah.
think Donnarumma.
Yeah. So there has been a chatter about Van Dijk probably from game week 11 or 12 onward. So
Mm.
what are your thoughts? Like, do you feel like Liverpool will become an option again from a
They
defense?
are obviously an option, I think, and that's sort of also getting me to the place wherein I think 4-4-2 structure will become maybe the meta,
Mm,
because I think you already have at least two forward positions in Gabriel and say at least
mm,
Senesi, one 5 million and other 6.3,
yeah.
6.4 million kind, and then with if you are able to if you're taking money out from one forward or a mid
Mm,
position, you are left with funds, and if especially if you don't need to get those Ezes and Gordons of the world,
yeah.
those funds are there to be used. So you can maybe even think about tripling up on a Palace defender like Munoz, or instead going for somebody like a Virgil van Dijk.
Right.
So something like you can maybe right now go with Munoz, and 2 to 3 game weeks down the line convert Munoz into Van Dijk.
Yeah.
That is a possible move.
I think another pick from Brighton is Van Heck, who still he's also possessing a decent goal threat. Comes at a cost of 4.4.
Yeah.
So like a decent enabler if anyone's looking to. They
But
also have a
would you feel confident? I thought about him, but would you feel confident playing a Brighton team who are
see
conceding?
our like I think our
They're
thought
conceding
process
every match.
I think our thought process still relies more on the clean sheet aspect. I think we have always keeping that in our conscious to like we know Bournemouth is a good team. We know Palace is a good team and that's why we have that as a coverage. We do not trust like the 4 millions, but we know that they have 4 pointer as a floor. So that's like we are envisioning 8 points in the game when we are playing our third defender or the fourth
Hmm.
defender. That is our thought process that we are not discounting the fact that we want clean sheet as well on top of the defcon. So
Hmm.
like Arsenal is secure points. But other than that, I think you are always looking at other defenders, and that's why like I'm popping out these names like Mukiele, Rodons, Van Heck,
Yeah, I
and
think right now definitely you have to go with at least one. I would say you can even think of going with two 4.0 if you are playing like a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 kind of a structure, if you want to maximize the funds in all the playing 11
yeah,
positions specifically,
yeah,
right? And that's because those 4.x players, they've actually done pretty well. Like last week Rodon gave a 13 pointer, he was on for a clean sheet on top of that.
yeah.
Like it would have been a 17 pointer if they hadn't conceded a
Just
goal.
matches Mukiele.
Yeah. So and then Mukiele can score in any match he's
Yeah,
shown. So you can keep like an Alderete or a Mukiele, one between the two, and I think Rodon has to be by like at the right now. I think if you can get to him, Rodon is your fifth defender
yep,
clearly.
yep.
Leeds are defending well. Rodon has an attack threat as well. Uh, and then you can maximize. You can have all three playing defenders as like a Gabriel, Timber, and Virgil, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah,
You can easily do that.
fair. So I think the defender discussion hasn't changed much from what we have
Yeah.
seen in the previous game week. So I
Would
mean,
you prioritize? I think there's been little bit of a readjustment though. think we were going very apart from Gabriel, who we were clearly went for a clean sheet plus attacking threat perspective.
Yep.
I think almost everybody went with
That.
defensive picks.
Yeah.
Senesi has worked out pretty well. Like he's been so consistent in giving those points, so no complaints there. But do you think there is now a discussion that maybe even Senesi can be moved on to somebody else because you
I
want to
don't
fit?
think so. I think it's just a 10 pointer away that we will be back on Senesi love board. I think it's just couple of games. They had a tough fixture.
Fixture
Yeah.
run.
So I'm expecting like against City he'll get 4 points. I'm sure.
But
Um,
what about Munoz in comparison? Like I think like both now will have a good run of fixtures. So if you have to pick one between
so
Senesi and
again, like
Munoz,
it's all down to now. Munoz is like 6 points away from Richards right now, right? I think or like Ross.
ahead of Richards, I think.
Yeah, ahead of Richards, 6 or 7 points. But again,
Yeah.
like if he's going to haul like the way he's been, like he hauled in the last few games, then it makes sense that then Munoz could be the play. But I feel over the time, like next 10 game weeks, if Richards is getting Defcon in 7 games, then that matches.
Yeah.
Like it is more
Yeah, I think
fairly.
the difference would be somewhere like this, somewhere between
So I
10
don't
to
want
12
to.
points, somewhere around that,
Yeah,
8 to 12 points of difference
and if
overall.
it is like by the end of the season he's just 8-10 points short of that, and
Yeah,
I know for
then
a fact,
values with Richards. Yeah.
yeah, I know he's not going to play for me all game week, so that's there.
I'll tell you what, but if you have Richards, you will always think about whether you're playing him or not.
No, no, that's not the case with me. So
No,
I,
if he's your fourth defender, if
yeah,
he's your fourth defender, and you yourself said you are going with a 3-4-3 structure, then you are always having to make a decision which game to play Richards in, which versus not. If you have
so
Munoz,
it is
you
it
are going to by default play him, and he like yeah, whatever points he might score, he might actually end up contributing more to your team specifically
if I
because
am
you back
if I
those
am
points.
in a Muno structure, then it is like going to be a 4-4-2 because my I think like I can bench Senesi, that's not an issue, but I think if I have Munoz, he has to play each week. So that is like a place block. With Richard, he is allowing me that flexibility. So, I mean, I know for a fact that he does not have a goal and an assist threat that much as Munoz. So, I can bench him and play all other players whom I obviously rate slightly more than Munoz in terms of mids getting those assists and attackers getting those goals. So, that is how I am playing right now. But I know
Fair, fair, fair.
it
No,
could
I
be.
mean, I'm just trying to present a few different perspectives because I've also myself been thinking about these things. Fair shout, like no issues with both the approaches actually. So there's been some talk about Thiaw, who's a defender from Newcastle. He's
Hmm.
4.9 million.
Mhm.
Any thoughts on that? Like he's a cheapest way into your Newcastle defense right now,
Yeah, I
and
think
he
he.
seems pretty nailed.
I would now go on him over Burn. I think he's nailed now. So there has been a lot of people on Twitter also talking about it, and I think yeah, if anyone is looking at a Newcastle defense then and not having Pope, he's a good shout. I think has
Yeah.
a slight goal threat also from. I've been reading about him. There has been a chatter on the Wire pod about him as well. I think
Yeah.
LR was mentioning about
And they
Thiago.
have also shout out to Wire for to who have actually brought this player to our attention.
Yeah,
LR from Wire Wire Pod, he was also mentioning that he rotates really well with Senesi.
yeah,
So if you are in that kind of a position where you want to bench Senesi because he does have a few tough fixtures, and you can easily play a Newcastle defender in his place. Yeah, that's a genuinely good shout.
yeah. Let's look at our teams and then we'll have a wrap.
Correct. Yeah, let's quickly wrap. It's
So Aman,
this is
your team
this is
first.
my team,
Yeah,
and I had 4 free transfers this week. I've already made a couple of transfers. Uh, a little controversial or contentious. First one is moving Calafiori to Gabriel. And then second one was moving Pedro to Mateta up front. Pedro, I felt was a no-brainer kind of a transfer. and then on top of that, Mateta was gonna rise. I think he still might rise again, maybe. Not sure, but I didn't want to avoid making that transfer bec- because in case I'm anyway going to do that, I think my patience has finally ran out with Pedro. I know the fixtures are there, but if the player is not really doing well, I'm not so sure even if
Yeah,
how he'll do when the fixtures are good, great. Like, he's not even around the ball, he's not taking
yeah,
shots. There are other midfielders behind him positionally who are having more shots, playing as far up the field as him. So not great signs. And personally, as a Chelsea fan, I'm really sad about it. Second, and then actually the decision was between Pedro and Gyökeres. I've been equally burnt by Gyökeres. He's not given a single return since I've gotten him on my wildcard,
yeah.
and he's a transfer waiting. But it just felt, if I have to pick one between the two, Gyökeres playing Burnley
Gyökeres
as
has
a
Burnley.
Arsenal forward.
I think he'll score.
So I think that was the decision, and I chose to keep Gyökeres probably for the last game week, at least for some time. And then, if I was not going to go, take out Gyökeres, then I already have three Arsenal players.
Yeah,
And for me, I just cannot
live
now
without
go
Gabriel.
without Gabriel. He has hurt me too much, way too much, since I chose to bring in
Do you
Calafiori
do you
over him.
plan to use
And
the?
it could have been fully switched off, a polar opposite. I had the pick. Calafiori has been in chances. He's been, trying to score goals. One goal got ruled offside.
Yeah,
It could have been a different story,
yeah.
but alas.
But you
So I just got him in.
are you planning to use the third one on Anderson?
No, I think I'll just trust Senesi.
Yeah.
He'll probably get, he might even keep a clean sheet. Villa actually uh, won against City,
And then
so you never
that
know.
that brings me to the last, like, we'll discuss. I'll have this
Yeah,
shouted
yeah,
later
yeah.
on. So this is my team. I've moved out Isak to Mateta. I was contemplating between Pedro and Isak, but I think Isak injury and the also the option to get Mbumo in my team was like I just could not resist myself and I made it just on Sunday night. Usually not me, but that's how it is. We had to
I
pick.
think you must be feeling very excited. I'm
I,
just by looking at
yeah,
Mbumo in that team, I'm feeling so
I
excited.
am very like I think this is so far the first time in my season I felt really good with my midfield. I don't know
Yeah,
whether this will work out or not, but I just feel content having them. Like naming them, I have Sar, Semenyo, and Bumo Eze. Like I know
yeah.
these are good footballers, but I just hope they turn out to be good FPL picks as well. So that's now
No,
last
yeah.
last bit, and we'll just take couple more minutes. Your best captaincy shout, and the differential one is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, like, and we were discussing just yesterday. I think the differential captaincy it has got to be Gabriel.
Yeah,
I will not at all be surprised if he scores a goal against Burnley, and that itself will cover even if they do lose a clean
I'm
sheet.
also
And
thinking Mateta, although like that's my thing that I think
Brentford
Mateta,
have actually been playing pretty well,
but
and Mateta,
it's just
and Palace is actually playing midweek tonight.
yeah.
So
So
I'm
I'll
not sure how fresh they
he will
might
play
be
a
in this
strong
game.
squad, but that's one thing to say.
So yeah, I mean, considering that, I mean, obviously the obvious option is Haaland. And for that matter, now I feel even Mbumo is
Yes,
a good
good pick,
captaincy
but
shout
just
for
that,
you.
yeah, yeah, can be.
So what are your thoughts? Like, where are you?
I'm on Haaland, set on Haaland, but the others are Mateta, Mbumo, and then fourth Gabriel. Gabriel, if I do Gabriel, it's something like someone like made me drunk and made that.
I no no no. It won't take me that much to captain him. I'm seriously considering captaining because other than that, I have Fernandes, who's captainable against Nottingham Forest, but it's away. Sean Dyche, I don't know. Uh, Not sure. And then I also have Mateta, but again, I told you, like, I will have to monitor whether how much does Mateta play tonight
Yeah,
in their EFL match.
yeah.
Based on that, I'll take a call. But and also City are playing, I think, tonight. So
Yeah,
if Haaland is
interesting to
there,
see. I'll be catching up with the fixtures to just
yeah,
get
if
a sense.
Haaland again is amongst goal, then I
Yeah,
think
but
our
it's
decision will
also
be
down to
simple.
like you. I want to keep a home fixture captain, so Haaland could be that.
Yeah, Haaland is the obvious choice,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, I think, and Bournemouth, uh, it's weird. You cannot predict Bournemouth
yeah,
whether they'll concede or
yeah,
not.
yeah.
They conceded three against, Crystal Palace, and then they kept a clean sheet against Nottingham. So you don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
that brings us to the end of this podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed. We are still few subscribers short, so I hope by the time this video goes like released, it's already released. But by the time we open it tomorrow to check everything, I hope we are at 200. And please, please help us keep growing on the FPL space, guys.
Thank you, and please help us get to 200 subscribers. We're really, really close.
Yeah.
Please like our videos and share them. Just get your parents to maybe subscribe to our channel if that can help. But yeah, I really want to see that 200 very soon.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Bye, everyone.